So here's a thought. What if the NBA's most dazzling scorer, right, the guy everyone talks about, what if he's not just racking up points through, like, sheer force? What if there's this unseen artistry? Something subtle, but so devastating it just leaves defenses. We're clueless.
You're talking about the stuff behind the points, the passes maybe, the ones that kind of set everything up before you even realize it.
Exactly. Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. We're not just about the highlight reels today. No, we are diving deep into the passing masterclass, why Luka Doncic is leaving defenders speechless.
Ah, Luka. Yeah, everyone sees the step backs, the scoring bursts.
Right. But what if the real magic, the thing that truly breaks teams down, is his passing? Our source today argues, pretty strongly actually, that Luka's passing isn't just, another tool in the kit.
Okay.
It argues it's his most potent weapon, and it's time we really got why.
That's a big claim. I mean, in a league obsessed with scoring numbers, saying the passing is more impactful, that's definitely going against the grain. It requires a closer look, for sure.
Okay, so kicking off, the source doesn't hold back.
Right.
It calls Luka not just a passer, but a magician, even a chess grandmaster.
Wow, strong words. Magician, chess grandmaster.
And it emphasizes that this isn't about, like, crazy athleticism. It's about vision, intelligence, operating on a totally different level almost. When you hear those kinds of descriptions, what jumps out at you about his game?
Well, the chess grandmaster one really resonates, I think, because it speaks to anticipation, right? Thinking like 3 moves ahead of the defense. He's not just reacting to what the defense gives him, he's dictating. He sees the vulnerability before it's obvious and exploits it. It's very proactive.
And the source talks about this surgical court vision, like he sees the play develop before it happens. He passes guys open into space they haven't even reached yet.
Yeah, that's the predictive element. It's not, oh, he's open, I'll pass. It's more like, if I put the ball here, he will be open. It's a whole different understanding of spacing and timing.
So how does that mess with the defense? If they're trying to read him and react, but he's always a step ahead.
It throws everything off balance. Defenses work on reads, on patterns. If the passer consistently breaks those patterns by passing to future space, defenders get caught flat-footed.
Right.
They're forced into these impossible recovery situations, and suddenly openings appear that just shouldn't exist based on standard defensive principles. It fundamentally disrupts their rhythm.
Okay, let's touch on the athleticism thing. Because, people say he's not the fastest, not the highest jumper.
Yeah, that's the common knock, isn't it?
Exactly. But the source reframes it. Slow becomes measured. Not athletic becomes efficient. And his passing, they call it surgical violence, precise, deadly, even without that top-tier speed. What do you make of that reframing?
I think it's a really insightful way to look at it. It highlights that you don't need to be a freak athlete to dominate. Intelligence, timing, precision, those can be weapons too.
Surgical violence, I like that.
Yeah, it captures the idea the passes are violent in their effect on the defense, slicing them apart, but it's done with the precision of a surgeon, not brute force. It makes his physical tools almost secondary in those moments.
So the source gets specific, right? It talks about these dimes of death.
Okay.
Like threading the needle on backdoor cuts, those cross-court lasers that seem impossible, the no-look stuff. When you see that variety, what does it signal about his overall passing toolkit?
It signals mastery. I mean, it shows he can deliver the ball accurately from any angle at any speed with different levels of touch and deception. Each type of pass is designed for a specific situation to attack a specific defensive alignment. Having all those in his bag just makes him incredibly unpredictable and, frankly, a nightmare to game plan for.
Okay, let's zero in on a few of these signature moves. First up, the no-look laser. You know the one. He's running the pick and roll, eyes locked on the big guy rolling to the rim.
Yep, drawing all the attention.
And then, bam! He slings it, pinpoint accuracy, to the opposite corner for a wide-open 3. What's the magic trick there? What makes that specific misdirection so effective?
It's all about manipulating where the defense is looking. Defenders are coached, fundamentally, to watch the passer's eyes and body language.
Right.
So Luka uses that. He forces them to look at the roller, makes them commit to helping on that action, and then exploits the space they just vacated on the weak side. It's pure visual manipulation.
Okay, then there's the one-handed slang, often with his left hand right, whipping it across his body while he's moving.
Oh yeah, that pass is ridiculous.
And somehow hitting a shooter perfectly in the shooting pocket, even when it looks totally off balance. The source mentions the coordination needed. What makes that pass so difficult?
Well, think about it. You're moving one direction, probably drawing defenders, and you need to sling the ball accurately across your body, often with your non-dominant hand, while maintaining balance. It takes incredible core stability, wrist strength, touch, and just amazing spatial awareness to judge the angle and speed needed. Not many players can make that pass consistently, let alone accurately.
And a third one mentioned is the behind-the-back timing pass. Now, the source is clear. This isn't just flashy showboating.
No, definitely not with Luka. There's always a purpose.
Right. It serves a strategic goal, maintaining spacing, keeping the offensive flow going. When would this behind-the-back pass actually be better than just a normal chest or bounce pass?
Sometimes it's about the angle. If a defender is closing in a certain way, passing behind the back might be the only clean angle to get the ball to the teammate without it getting deflected.
Okay.
Or it could be about maintaining the flow, like the source says. Maybe stopping to make a conventional pass would kill the momentum, whereas a quick behind the back keeps everything moving seamlessly. It can also just surprise the defense for a split second.
And the source says these passes don't just lead to baskets. They leave defenders feeling made fools of.
Huh. I can see that.
Do you buy that? Is there a real psychological toll when a player keeps outsmarting you with passes like these?
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. You're working hard on defense, trying to anticipate, and this guy just makes you look silly. He finds angles you didn't see, uses deception you fall for.
Yeah.
It's demoralizing. It makes you second-guess yourself on the next play. Maybe you hesitate. Maybe communication breaks down because everyone's getting confused. It definitely has a cumulative psychological impact.
So that leads perfectly into this idea of the art of deception. The source calls it Luka's secret weapon. It's not just the physical pass, it's psychological warfare.
That's a dramatic way to put it, but it fits. He's playing mind games out there.
How does he do it? With body language, eye contact. How does he manipulate what defenders think he's going to do?
He's a master of the subtle fake. It could be a slight dip of the shoulder, making you think he's driving hard to the rim, or holding his gaze just a second too long in one direction to draw defenders that way. Even the pace he plays at that deliberate, probing style can lull defenders before he suddenly snaps a pass they weren't ready for. He controls their expectations.
The source gives examples like that shoulder dip you mentioned, selling the drive, then just lofting a gentle lob over the defense.
Yeah, classic.
Or staring down one teammate, really locking eyes, while simultaneously firing a no-look pass somewhere completely different. Why do even really good, smart defenders fall for this stuff?
Because defenders, especially elite ones, are trained to react instinctively to certain cues. Ball movement, eye direction, body posture. These are triggers. Luka knows what those triggers are, and he intentionally gives false signals. He plays on their training, on their instincts, and uses it against them. They're reacting to the signal he wants them to see, not the play he's actually making.
Which brings us to the impact beyond the assist stats. The source argues his passing builds confidence, creates offensive rhythm, shapes the whole team's identity. How does passing achieve all that? It sounds almost intangible.
But it has very tangible effects.
Yeah.
When players know they'll get the ball if they cut hard or relocate to an open spot, they do it more often and with more conviction.
Okay, that makes sense.
When shooters consistently receive the ball on time in their shooting pocket, they develop confidence and rhythm. It creates this positive feedback loop. Trust builds. The whole offense becomes more cohesive, more empowered, because the ball is moving and everyone feels involved.
And the stats seem to back this up. The source notes the Mavs' assist-to-turnover ratio is better with Luka on the floor, and shooters just get better looks. Can you directly link those numbers to the confidence and rhythm?
For sure. Better looks mean higher shooting percentages, which feeds confidence. A good assist-to-turnover ratio means the offense is efficient, not sloppy. That's rhythm and cohesion right there.
Yeah.
His ability to make the right pass, the easy pass for his teammate to handle or score from, directly translates into those better statistical outcomes. It's not just about racking up assists, it's about creating high-quality opportunities.
The source even claims his passing turns average role players into legit scoring threats. Is that pushing it too far, or can truly elite playmaking elevate teammates that much?
I don't think it's hyperbole, actually. Look at guys who play with elite passers like Luka or Jokic or historically Magic or Nash. Their efficiency often jumps. because the playmaker puts them in positions to succeed, spoon feeds them easy buckets, finds them when they have even a sliver of daylight. It maximizes their specific skills. An average shooter looks much better when they're always shooting wide open shots.
Okay, shifting gears a bit.
Yeah.
Legacy. The source suggests Luka is actually influencing younger players now. They're not just copying his step back, they're studying his passes. He's making passing cool again.
That would be interesting and honestly pretty great for the game.
Right. In an era so focused on individual scoring highlights, is that a real shift you think could be happening?
It's possible. You know, kids emulate what they see succeeding at the highest level. If Luka continues to dominate and his passing is recognized as a key part of that dominance, yeah, maybe young players will start valuing and practicing playmaking more. It could encourage a more well-rounded approach.
And the source contrasts this with maybe the previous generation's focus on, say, Westbrook's sheer power and athleticism. Now there's more appreciation for Luka's IQ, his change of pace, that ability to pause and read everything. What does that say about how we value skills in basketball now?
I think it shows a growing maturity in how we analyze the game, maybe. A recognition that while athleticism is amazing, it isn't the only way.
Yeah.
Basketball IQ, court vision skill, deception, the ability to manipulate the game mentally, these are being recognized more and more as elite game-winning traits. It's less about just raw physical tools and more about how you use whatever tools you have.
Which ties into Luka as the floor general. Conductor, metronome, the brain behind the bucket, all these analogies from the source. How central is his passing to that sense of complete control he seems to have?
It's everything. His passing is the primary mechanism through which he exerts that control.
Right.
It's how he dictates tempo, speeding up for a fast break dime or slowing it down in the half court to probe. It's how he exploits mismatches he sees developing. It's how he ensures the right players get the ball in the right spots. His scoring is vital, obviously, but his passing is what orchestrates the entire offensive symphony.
The source points out how rare this is, comparing him to Jokic, maybe prime LeBron, and noting Luka's doing it so young. What makes having that level of control, primarily through passing, so uncommon?
It just requires such a rare blend of skills. You need the vision, obviously, but also the pinpoint accuracy to execute any pass imaginable.
Right.
You need an incredibly deep understanding of offensive and defensive schemes. And you need the confidence, the poise, to make those reads and deliveries under intense pressure. To have all of that click at an elite level, especially early in a career, yeah, that's special. That's why only a handful of players ever reach that true floor general status.
So here's the controversial bit the source brings up.
Yeah.
If he's this good at passing, why isn't it talked about more in the mainstream media?
That's a fair question.
The source throws out ideals. Maybe it's not as flashy as dunks or step-back threes. Maybe the media just loves scoring stats. Or maybe, and this is where it gets a bit pointed, maybe some are uncomfortable with his European background, his methodical style, his high IQ game.
Well, it's probably a mix of things. Scoring highlights are definitely easier to package and sell. They're instantaneous bursts of excitement.
Yeah, quick hits.
Exactly. Appreciating elite passing often requires watching the whole play develop, understanding the context, seeing the setup. It's more nuanced. As for the other points, look, media narratives often gravitate towards certain archetypes. Maybe the methodical, high IQ European player doesn't fit the typical superstar mold as easily for some outlets.
Interesting.
Whether that's conscious or unconscious bias is hard to say, but it's possible those factors play a role in why his passing sometimes feels like a secondary storyline, despite its impact.
And the source kind of flips it, saying this underappreciation is exactly why he's special.
Right, his uniqueness might be part of why it's not always fully captured by mainstream narratives.
So, wrapping up, the final call from the source is pretty clear.
Right.
Appreciate this guy's passing, recognize the generational passing genius while it's happening.
Yeah.
He's not just a scorer, not just a star from Europe. He might be one of the best pure passers we've ever seen.
Yeah.
What's the one big takeaway you hope people get about Luka's passing from our chat today?
That it's not just functional, it's foundational. It's the bedrock of his game and arguably his team's success. You really have to watch how he plays, not just the results. Look for the setups, the manipulation, the vision. It's an art form, truly, and deserves that level of recognition.
Okay, so after digging deep into Luka Doncic's passing game, the big question for you listening is, do you believe he's the best passer in the NBA right now? Or does someone else hold that crown for you? Let us know. Find us on social media, drop a comment. We genuinely want to hear what you think.
Yeah, it's a great debate. So many incredible playmakers out there, but Luka's case is, yeah, it's pretty compelling, isn't it?
It really is. And hey, if you found this deep dive insightful, if maybe we made you look at Luka's game a little differently, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations like this one.
Definitely.
And maybe share this with that friend you have. You know, the one who still just calls Luka slow or just a scorer. Maybe this will spark a new appreciation for the mastery.